Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to Recovery Perfects, practical tools to help you follow good, orderly direction. We are continuing our look at Deuteronomy chapter 7, today looking at verse 25. Yeah, just one verse. Eliminating relapse triggers. Scripture says, "The images of their gods you are to burn in the fire. Do not covet the silver and gold on them, and do not take it for yourselves, or you will be ensnared by it. For it is detestable to the Lord your God." How does this apply to recovery? Well, many people who do wrong and do not follow good, orderly direction may get rich and powerful. And we may see their stuff and their riches, and we start idolizing it, and we want some of that. But what quality of life do they have? What security in their life do they have? Are they surrounded by people who love them or their money and power? So burning the images, and again, in today's world, we're not going to go out and burn other people's stuff. That's not okay. But we want to eliminate the images of these things that other people idolize that draw us away from good, orderly direction, whether it is alcohol or gambling or some other addiction or anything that contributes to you feeling unsafe and powerless. Relapse happens long before you realize it. And again, we're talking about moods, we're talking about pain, we're talking about addiction. These relapses start long before you actually realize what's going on. The change is very gradual, and before you know it, you've compromised your beliefs or values or behaviors, or begun romanticizing the very things that destroyed your life to begin with. If you have an autoimmune disease, for example, stress is one of the biggest triggers for autoimmune flares. And you may not realize how stressed you are until you're already in that flare. You've already relapsed, which is why it's important to be aware, be mindful of the stressors in your life, and to eliminate from your life those things that contribute to unnecessary stress. How does being around people who are constantly anxious or angry impact your recovery? What about being around people who are selfish or arrogant? How does that impact your recovery and your happiness? How does being around relapse triggers like alcohol, gambling, or sex on TV or in ads, how does that impact you? Does it trigger you? For a lot of people, it's important to understand even the little tiny triggers can be additive. I recognize when I'm watching television, because I've worked in addictions for so long and I have a long line of people with alcoholism in my family, how prevalent alcohol is in most shows, and anymore sex is too. So people who are struggling with alcoholism or sex addiction, they're potentially going to be a lot more triggered just watching benign mainstream media, and it may be important to adjust what they're watching. I have some people who struggle with sex addiction, for example, who have gone back to watching shows from like the 1980s and early 90s when sex wasn't so ubiquitous in every single show. Now, as far as alcohol, it was pretty bad back then too, and people were smoking on top of it. So mainstream media is not super safe for people who get triggered easily by seeing alcohol or smoking. And for some people, that may mean they've got to eliminate it from their repertoire. And there are some family-focused channels out there that aren't necessarily religious that provide content that doesn't have those triggering things. It just takes a minute to figure out where they are and to subscribe to them so they're easily accessible when you want to watch media. The images of those gods and idols that unhealthy people worship need to be removed from your life. Think about what gods or idols tempt you to abandon, even just for a minute, good orderly direction, that tempt you to act impulsively, that tempt you to be self-centered, that trigger your anger. I know, right? So many things on social media and media can be infuriating. So it's important to recognize the impact these things have on your recovery and whether you need to eliminate it. I've talked to a lot of people who say how much better they feel when they get off social media because they're not constantly what they call doom scrolling. And it releases a bunch of anxiety and anger about things that they have no control over anyway. And finally, how can you set boundaries in your life against or with other people, the media, your community, your environment, so you can feel safe, empowered, and at least less triggered? Please remember to like, subscribe, and share so we can get the word out about this channel. Thank you.